Do you ever feel like you are just stuck? You cannot get out of whatever situation you're in. Maybe it's you need to move forward on this new element with your business and you just cannot figure out how to move forward. Maybe it's in a relationship where you feel like we keep having the same argument over and over again and nothing changes. Whatever it is, I'm going to share 3 steps that you can take to get unstuck almost immediately. So step number 1 to get unstuck, figuring out where you're blaming. Figuring out where you're outsourcing something about your circumstance in terms of responsibility onto someone else. So I had this experience years ago where I was working in a law firm. I was so unhappy, and truthfully, I was blaming my husband at the time for my unhappiness. Now, I wasn't thinking of it that way, but I thought in my mind, if only he had a different job, I could quit this job. If only he was home more often, I would have more time to figure out what I wanted to do. If only all these circumstances that seemed to be his fault, when in actuality, it was all on me, of course. If you're watching this video, I know that you are not outsourcing your happiness to such an extreme level, but I want you to ask yourself where you're feeling stuck. Where are you outsourcing the blame? Instead of you taking responsibility, where do you feel like if only he was different, I could be different? If only this circumstance with my business would change, I could have better results in business. And you've got to really dig around in there, because the more aware we get, the more insidious our subconscious becomes. Or you can insert whatever little tricky way your mind is trying to keep you stuck where you are. And if you can uncover what that is, you've taken a giant leap towards getting unstuck. Because as long as we depend on someone or something else to get out of our circumstances, of course, we can't really move forward. Step number 2 is to check in with your highest self on this thing that you want and whether it's actually in your best interest, whether from the perspective of your highest self, this is a good next move for you. A little activity that I use with clients whenever they're feeling like they don't know the answer or can't figure out the path forward. I'd like to invite you to go with me. This will just be a minute or so of your time, but you will need to close your eyes and go deep with me. So let's try it. If you can get comfortable in your chair and just close your eyes just for a minute or 2. And I want you to start off by taking 3 deep breaths. So that's in through your nose, all the way down into your stomach, all the way down. And then as you breathe out, you're letting the air all the way out. So empty your stomach completely. You're gonna do that 3 times. And as you breathe, I want you to feel yourself really relaxing. Just let that relaxation flow through your entire body, and any muscles that are tense are getting softer. And as you get more and more relaxed, I want you to feel that there's a golden energy of light on your skin. And you can actually physically feel this. Usually I could feel it on my arms or my legs first. And I want you to envision this golden light that's covering your entire body. And as you feel it, you feel the warmth, you feel how relaxing and secure it feels. And the more you feel it, the bigger it grows. So it actually really expands into this entire room that you're in. And you're getting more and more relaxed, more and more clear. Everything's amazing. The light gets bigger and it expands through your city, and now through your entire country. And I want you to see that as it passes over any people or animals and plants, all of those living things energetically relax. So you're relaxing others. It's just kind of this feeling of like, whew, that's nice, as it passes over people and animals. And now the light expands out over the oceans and all the other continents until it's actually covering the entire planet. And you are at the pinnacle of the most beautiful relaxation, just comfort, feeling good. Your whole body's relaxed. And in that state, I want you to ask yourself the question, is this the best next step for me? Is this the right thing to do from the place of my higher self and what I know is good for me? Is this right for me? And now whatever answer comes up, just let that be. Usually our initial action is the chatter in our heads rushes in and we start thinking about why it's not good or why it's not possible. Or if you got an answer that was, no, do this instead, a lot of times the mind might say, but you've put in so much time and energy, or everything is based on that, or some kind of fear usually arises. But I want you to notice your answer is never in fear. Your initial answer that came up should never be from a fearful place. And that's how you know it's coming from your highest self. It might guide you in a different direction, but it's not making you feel afraid. That fear feeling comes from the chatter in our heads that really, when we're making big picture decisions about the guidance in our life, we need to put it aside. Okay, awesome. So you can open your eyes and I want you to really take that in. You should be feeling good and relaxed and you got an answer, whatever it is, whether it was what you thought or something new. Once you see that the step you were going to take or the place you're going to go or the thing you need to do next to get unstuck is the right move for you, step number 3 is going to be asking yourself this very important question. Is your place of being stuck that you don't know what to do next, or you know exactly what to do and you're procrastinating for some reason? I've found almost all the time that the place of being stuck is, I know exactly what I need to do, I'm just stopped for some reason. So why does that happen? Usually that's because either I'm standing at the bottom of a big mountain and instead of looking at the next step and the next step, I'm looking way at the top and it feels like, how am I ever gonna get there? And I totally get that. It can be so hard, because we bunch all these future actions we need to take into the present and suddenly there's so much to do. Why would I even bother to start? Or sometimes what we're looking at is the risk, is the thing we're gonna have to give up in order to get to that place. So maybe the next best action is to end the relationship. Maybe it's to have a really honest conversation with someone that I haven't had before and I'm afraid how they'll react. Are they gonna still love me? Are they gonna stick around? Are we still gonna be together? And all of this is really a fear of stepping into the unknown, which I call the fire of fear. And I'm sure you've been there before. It's this place where when we make a change in our life, a place that I've never been before, and it's not comfortable. And in fact, the even more uncomfortable place is after the fire of fear. So after I take the step and it all burns off, and I might be sitting there by myself, or I might be sitting there with a brand new business that isn't the place that I want it to be, that isn't amazing for everybody to see yet online, that isn't yet where I know it could be, and I have to sit there in that discomfort. So I want you to really ask yourself, what is it that's stopping me? What's paralyzing me? Why am I feeling stuck? And if you can get clear on what it is, either I'm looking too far up the mountain, I'm afraid of the fire of fear, I'm afraid of what I know I have to give up to get there. If you can get clear on that, then you can take a moment with yourself and say, I see what this situation is. From the place of what I know is possible for me, am I going to move forward? Am I going to take the next one step that I need to take to get to this place that I know I can be in? This amazing business that I want to have, this awesome high quality relationship with beautiful intimacy that I know is possible for me. Insert whatever it is for you. This awareness, this clarity will always help you to be able to take the step, and then you have to decide whether you're going to. You have to decide, is your highest self gonna decide what actions we are or aren't taking? Or am I gonna let the little scared girl in me who's afraid about climbing the mountain, who's afraid about how this might look, who's afraid of being alone, am I gonna let her run my show? I'm gonna choose to let my highest self run the show because I know I'm here to do great things and I know you are too. So I believe in you. I'd love to hear from you. Comment below if you want to share where have you been stuck or how are you moving yourself forward, and let me support you. Whatever it is that you know is your next step in creating your most extraordinary life, I know it's possible for you. Have an amazing day.